Welcome to Focus on Happy Hips. So all of these Focus on videos are to give you small doses of a way of supporting your body in whatever our focus was for the week in classes. So you can always find the correlating class in Patreon. If you're not a member, feel free to take a look and see what the offerings are below. But even if you're not a member, you still get a little bit of a benefit where you can take these exercises into your daily life to invest in a happy, healthy body and more mindful movement. So I'm going to invite you, if you have a block, a yoga block, have it nearby. You might need it, you might not. If you don't have one, it's okay. I'm going to give alternatives, but if you have one and you'd like to have it nearby, just in case, pause the video, go grab your block and have it nearby. And when you're ready, we're just going to open and close the knees to lubricate the hip sockets. You may or may not know that there's something called synovial fluid that runs through all of your joints. And the more you move your body, the more you tell your glands, we need to produce synovial fluid. So the more you move your body, the more synovial fluid you produce, for the most part. How do we get synovial fluid? We hydrate. So that's another, I know we're all on that bandwagon trying to get as much water in as we can. Whatever level is healthy for your body. But that's another motivation that when you drink water, you produce, you have more fuel, so to speak, for your synovial fluid. So the more you move, the more you produce, generally speaking, and we want to open up the hips. So I talk a lot in class about how we hold emotions in our hips. I do other work with the emotion code and Reiki and other energy practices. And we hold a lot in our bodies, energetically, emotionally, that can even cause physical, structural misalignments or interruption in flow of energy in the body, which can also cause limitation in movement sometimes. I've seen some interesting releases open up the physical body. Movement is another way of offering up that freedom. The more we stay stagnant, the more we kind of just stuff it all in there. And then our body is just laden with toxins of an emotional kind or chemical kind, from the world we live in. So keep moving. So focusing on the hips today, getting them nice and lubricated and moving, we're going to come into seated mountain on a nice stable chair, no wheels, no arms, and you're going to press into the left foot and hug the right knee in towards your chest. You can hold under the thigh or interlace your fingers and hold in front of the shin. So we're just going to lift and lower. Just lift and lower. So this is something you can do just taking a moment, sitting on a chair in the dining room maybe, while you're waiting for the coffee to brew. That's usually my go-to. You can get a lot done while that coffee's brewing. And then if it feels okay, you can circle the hip. Stir up that socket. Again, if you need to keep it low, you can just hold by the chair, hold under the thigh, and just give it a little circles. One direction and then the other. So we're circling the hip and we're lifting and lowering. So we want to open that hip flexor. And then we want to open out to the side, keep the foot flexed, and then bring it back forward. Inhale, open, keep the foot flexed, and bring it back forward. So we'll do that a couple of times, opening up that hip socket. And if you need to keep it small, if you have limitation, please honor your body. Hug the knee in towards your chest a little, and now we're going to bring the ankle in. So we're taking the shin on an angle. So nice and easy. Again, always listen to your body. Do that a couple of times. And if it feels okay, right ankle is going to go across left knee. Make sure it passes it and doesn't land on the ankle joint. Flex the toes. Left knee over ankle. So sitting up nice and tall. This might be pretty big, right? This can be a big stretch. If your body is protesting in any way or your body doesn't like this for some reason, this is where the block may come in handy. So if you have a block and this position is not available, you can take the block on one of its settings, the small, medium, or large, and place it next to the left foot. And then you're going to take the pinky toe edge of that right foot and place it on the block wherever, and then root down, rise up here. If you don't have a block, you can extend the left leg out, foot to the floor. I'm going to show it at an angle because I just realized my foot is off camera. So heel to the floor, flex the foot, and then you're going to bend the right knee, flex the right foot, and land the foot on the shin. So it'll look like this, sitting forward. But keep the feet flexed and active. That activates the leg muscles. So no cramping. or pulling. So press down, rise up. You're pressing either into the heel or the foot, and we're lengthening. So this might be enough. If you would like to go a little deeper, you can root down, rise up. So press into the floor, lift up through the crown, like someone's pulling a string to the top of the head, and hinge forward. Keep the shoulders back, heart open. Try not to round. That's getting into a different stretch. It's not really as effective as keeping the spine long. And just go incrementally. You might go a little bit here. You might go just a little bit. If you're here, you might go a little further. Hang on to the chair to support the stretch. Same thing with here. You have a little more availability. But here you might not go as far. So just breathe. Open gently. Keep the foot flexed to protect that knee. And then press into the bottom foot or heel and hinge back up. And then release. So we're going to do the other side. So if you're here, you're going to gently dismount, left hand to the sole of the right foot, right hand above right knee, and just rock the baby out of it and lower the foot. If you're in any of the other orientations, just unwind the feet flat. Put the feet flat on the floor, and then just butterfly the legs for a moment. Breathe. You might notice you're uneven. It's okay. We're going to do both sides. But also notice that both sides are different. We are anatomically uneven. If you notice one eye is lower than the other, especially if you're tired maybe. So we're natural. It's organic to be a little askew. We're perfectly imperfect, right? So we're going to press into the right foot, hug and lift the left knee, and give a little circle. So, and you can hold it under the thigh or interlace fingers. And actually, we're going to start here. So hug and lift, inhale, exhale and lower. Hug and lift, exhale and lower. Hug and lift, exhale and lower. And then we're going to do the circles. So one direction, and then the other. And then hold under the thigh and just open out. So that we're going to open using the abductors and then adductors, the muscles to pull it in. Inhale, open, and exhale, pull it in. Inhale, open, exhale, pull it in. And then you're going to give that little tilt of hug the knee in and give the little tilt of the shin. So ankles coming in a couple times. So this one is good for sciatica. If you have sciatica, can get into that, but be gentle always. If it feels okay, you're going to bring the left ankle across the right knee and flex the foot, opening up that leg. Give a little love to that outer thigh. This can be pretty big. If it's not available on this side, maybe even if it was available on the other side, you're uneven, and that's natural. You can take the block for support on the pinky toe side of that left foot, or extending the right leg, heel to the floor, bending the left knee, flexing the left foot, and rest that foot on the shin, root down, rise up. So you're going to come forward, make sure you're not digging into the back of the thigh, so you have that availability, that range of motion. So here on the block or here. Press into your foundation, root down, so press down and rise up like someone's lifting your crown to the top of the head, to the sky. And then draw into the back body. Hands to the side of the chair. We're going to lengthen on the inhale and exhale, hinge forward. Take a couple breaths here. Allow the exhale to invite a little more space. Never push, just invite. Especially if you're feeling tight or you've had an emotional day, you might be extra specially tight in your hips. So just breathe, love yourself like you would offer love to your best friend. Unless you're a tough lover. In this case, keep the tough love for another moment. Offer gentleness to your body here. And then press into your foundation, whether it's the heel or the foot, and hinge back up. And here we're going to rock the baby. So right hand to the sole of the left foot, left hand above left knee, and rock the baby gently. Lower the foot if the leg was extended or you're modifying. Just bend the legs, feet to the floor, and just butterfly the legs. You can even butterfly the upper body. Find a couple breaths. And there you have it. So you can do that exercise. We'll get a lot of the parts of your hip to stretch. There's one more you can do actually. And you're going to take your feet into temple pose, so toes out, heels in, and you're going to windshield wiper the legs. Now, depending on the chair that you're in, I've worked in a lot of chairs in different places. Some chairs don't allow this motion. The flat ones, like this metal chair, do. If it feels okay, swing over to the left. Left knee over ankle and knee to the floor. So here we're getting into the hip flexors. So when we're sitting, right, the hip flexors is what makes this action available. And the hip flexors, this is the hip flexors in flexion. Here they're in extension. We don't really get a lot of extension if we're sitting a lot. So here we're at least getting half the hip flexor in extension. So pressing down, rising up, and then if it feels okay, leaning back. Just don't let the head fall. Keep the head supported. You can even extend the arm and place the hand on the head to support it and lift it as you hinge back. Get a stretch through the quadricep into the hip flexor, and then come back forward, hinge forward, and then come back up. You can even drop the hip and lift the elbow away, and you can bring the elbow down and forward. Play with this motion, see what feels good. Getting into that whole area, down into the lower back too. And then inhale back up and exhale lower. And then we'll windshield wiper again. Again, if the chair makes this available. Swinging over to the other side. Right knee over ankle, left knee towards the floor. And again, hand to hip as we're hinging back, or if you want to make sure the head doesn't fall back and you want to get a good stretch in the upper back, I always like to find ways of feeding two birds with one hand. This is a great way to do that. Pressing the head into the hand into the head, you're going to hinge back, opening that front hip flexor. And then exhale, hinge forward. So the legs are pressing into the floor, and you're just like a pendulum, swinging the upper body backwards and forwards, keeping it with the breath. So inhaling, opening, exhaling forward. And then inhale, come back to center. Send the hip down as you lift the elbow up and over. And then maybe fold the elbow. See if you can get stretching into the back, into the hip. Play with it. See what feels good. And then come back up. Elbow out, lower the hand. And then we'll windshield wiper to face forward. And then bring the legs back to seated mountain. So that's a good, pretty good, well-rounded stretch out for your hips. So if you find that you're holding a lot of tension, or you're feeling over-emotional, you just feel a lot of tension in that area, and you're not moving a lot, those are some great motions that you can do to love your hips and get them nice and happy. And yeah, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you want to know about the full-length classes that I offer through my Patreon page, the link is below. And I hope you feel good in your hips. So thanks for watching, and here's to your happy hips.